virtual interactions, which is planned with STAR alumni. And let me first begin with introducing today's speakers to you all. So these sessions are part of the support which we are receiving from NIFT WeCare team. It is basically many experienced alumni who are doing wonderfully well in the Today we have.
I think Ranjini
we have Ms. Nidhi Dua. Yes, I'm sorry. I hope I'm back.
No, we can just manage. If I mean, we can hear your voice. So cut off the video and then you can speak. That will be better if it's possible.
Yeah. So today we have Ms. Nidhi Dua and Mr. Ashish Madireta with us, and they will be in conversation with Professor Dr. Raghuram Jayaraman. A short introduction to both the speakers today. Ms. Nidhi Dua is the sourcing head of Marks & Spencer, India and Sri Lanka. She is a GMT pass out graduate of batch of 1993 with an extensive experience of around 27 years and counting in mainly supply chain management. Formerly, she has worked with French Connection, Gap, and H&M, and to name a few. She's also extensively worked in community health and wellness and empowerment. And she's also worked on gender equality at workplace. She's also a member of Senate at NIFT, member of the NIFT Senate also. So we welcome you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Ranjini, and thank you, Professor Raghuram, and happy Teachers' Day. And I'm really glad to be on this forum and to be with the batch of 2020.
Thank you, ma'am. Our second speaker today is Mr. Ashish Madireta. He's the head of retail and distribution division at SSIPL. SSIPL is a sportswear company. And previous to that, he has also worked as CEO of Fashion & You, and also with various international luxury brands like Rosenthal and Villeroy and Boch, and also with many international retail chains like Marks & Spencer, ITC, etc. So Mr. Ashish has around 2 decades of experience in fashion, retail, e-commerce, brand management, buying and sourcing, sales and operation, category management, business development. He is from the batch of 2001 AMM. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Ranjini. Thank you, Professor Raghu. It's a pleasure to connect with the batch of 2020 and beyond.
Thank you. And in conversation with the mentors today, we have Professor Dr. Raghuram Jayaraman. Sir is a professor with the Department of Technology, currently based in Bangalore Center. He is the head of Industry and Alumni Affair, that is a HO role. So all students should be knowing him pretty well because he's heading the Industry and Alumni Affairs. So sir is going to represent the students here who will be asking their questions and also interacting with the mentors. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ranjini. I sincerely appreciate your efforts and also the efforts of the NIFT WeCare Angels. Yes. I mean that we are here on the second continuous week, which is expected to be a part of the NIFT calendar of bringing in senior alumni who represents the fashion industry at large to virtually interact with the students and become their mentors. So,
sir, I pass it on to you, Raghuram sir, to take this forward.
Yes, thank you very much. My heartfelt and heartiest welcome to Nidhi ji and Ashish ji, to the virtual mentoring. Rather than introduction, it is going to be a mentoring. And my sincere appreciations to the NIFT WeCare Angels. So we had Sanjay Shukla last week briefing all the NIFT grads about how this NIFT WeCare was instituted and how all of you have become, have come close together to get the initiatives rolling. Probably a couple of words from both of you would augment the thought process that the NIFT WeCare has been up to.
So I can start. So
please.
Yeah. The whole objective of NIFT WeCare is number one, staying very, very closely connected with the NIFT Association and the NIFT alumni. And also, we have all been through this journey. We were students ourselves at one point in time. And I think we've had the opportunity and we've been lucky that somebody gave us the advice. When I passed out in 93, I think we weren't even aware, what this word mentor, mentee means. But yeah, there were people doing the same job. There were people guiding us. There were people talking to us. So I think it is really, really important, not just for us, but every pass out from the institute who has spent some years in the industry, to be able to talk to the passing out batches and to be able to share their experiences. If they have any concerns, questions, anxieties, then to be able to discuss that, So that is really the objective, to stay connected, to share the knowledge that we have gained. And if in this process we can be of any help to the students and to NIFT, we will be more than happy.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Ashish ji, what's your take on that?
I think, Professor Raghu, we were part of several associations working together in alumni form or connecting with NIFT earlier also. But this particular initiative, which I think Sanjay Shukla at Triberg, he's the one who was the front runner to start this piece with 10 odd people, the mind behind it. Nidhi and I have just foot soldiers to join them, to be honest. We came together for one simple reason, because this is a very focused initiative. This was not only just more of a business networking within the alumni, but this was focused to the students. And I think that itself touched our hearts, that if in case we can give back some part of what we have achieved in our lives back to the organization, back to NIFT, which we actually studied, I think it will be a pleasure for us. So it was more of connecting with the batch of 2020 and beyond, and then communicating with them, and then at the same time creating opportunities for them through jobs or through mentoring itself. Right. That's the reason we got it.
Yeah, really great. Thanks to all of you that you have thought back of supporting the alma mater. And I'm sure that representing the students, I would be speaking their minds, and almost I've seen them from this particular angle, especially what do they expect when they graduate and what do they expect from the alumni. So I'm sure that I'll be able to put forth few of their points and try to get your advice on that, so that the wider audience get to know about how they should proceed forward. Nidhi, you're a member of the NIFT Senate. We have an industry representation in the NIFT Senate, and of course after a tenure that another person. So it's an ex officio post. So certainly somebody is going to fill it from the alumni. Today it's you. Tomorrow it might be Ashish or Sanjay or anybody who has that intention and intent to collaborate and engage with the institute and provide something to the alma mater. So how do you see that, and how do you see that students can benefit it through a representative like you sitting in the Senate?
I would say that the students should talk. They should voice their concerns. They should give their suggestions, and if there is anything they need to be augmented, added, they should tell us about it. So the best person I feel would be, if the students have any suggestions, they reach out to Ranjini, and Ranjini can collate the information and send it to me. And of course, when I am there at the NIFT Senate meeting, I can take those issues up. I can also funnel those issues to the heads of different centers, and we can make sure that whatever can be picked up and whatever can be implemented gets done in the fastest possible manner. So it is a very, very powerful forum, and I think it really helps to have an alumni member there, because like I said, I have been through this journey myself, and we can definitely add value to whatever the students say.
Correct. So the NIFT has been, it's about a couple of decades for me at NIFT, and I've seen this institute very closely. It has always been for the students, and it has always rised up to the occasion, producing industry-ready professionals, and have not left any stone unturned as on date. And that's one reason we are trying our level best to get the alumni and the graduates connected so that the experience get transferred seamlessly. So the point is, so I'm going to alternately interact, and then we'll have some common questions which either of you can take. Ashishji, there's supposed to be, easily 8 to 9 years of gap when Nidhiji graduated and then you graduate. So how do you see your time of graduating? How were your graduates? What did you look for from your seniors? Or in what are the areas that you wanted your seniors to help you, the alumni to guide you and mentor you? What was your expectation when you graduated?
I think my expectation connecting with my seniors was very simple, that if in case they prepare me for the real life, I think NIFT gave me amazing tools to get into the industry. But what would made me survive there would have been my seniors around. And just not only the work culture or the basic ethics, but also to survive in all the competitive scenario we all work in. So I think I was lucky. I joined Pantaloons. There was no Future Group that time. There was only Pantaloons, and 19 of us joined Future Group that time. And we went through amazing orientation. I think Pantaloon was run by the Niftians that time. So we were lucky that we had so many seniors around us, Nikhil Chandra, Amit Kumar, they all were from NIFT itself. So I think the initial nurturing, the hand holding which was required was very much provided to us at Pantaloon itself. And that still remains one of my platforms where I learned the most with the entrepreneurs, which is Bianis, at the same time the Niftians who were holding the fort for them.
Okay, were you connected, I mean, as a part of the campus, like, were you connected with your seniors when you were pursuing your study at NIFT? And if you were connected, when would you go out and reach your seniors? I mean, that question is to both of you. Because both of you were from the management stream, it's a post-graduation program, and then you could have come up from various walks of life, and then you came into a fashion management system, and you would have looked up to some guidance from them while you were pursuing the program. So what were those areas where you literally looked up to your seniors?
Do you want to take it, then I'll answer mine.
Yeah, Ashish, go ahead, then I can.
So I think I'll be very honest. When I joined NIFT, I was not very sure that whether I will go into exports or retail. And to be honest, I went and did my internship at Orient-Craft. I did whatever possible required, go to the export document department, run to DHL department, get the shipments out. So that was something I was almost inching towards, that I'll get into exports. By the time I did my fashion industry market survey, the whole creativity piece in me and the whole numbers piece, which I got from my college, started getting intermingling. So I was a little confused whether I should get into retail, because I love numbers. At the same time, I love product. That's the time I reached out to a couple of my seniors who were in retail. Who already joined Shoppers Stop, Ebony. Ebony was a retail company that time, Pantaloons. And I'll be honest, 5 days before the placement, the D0, I decided that I'm going to go in retail. Okay. And the decision which was made 5 days before was held by my seniors rather than I deciding for myself. They said your orientation, your leadership skill, your numbers, love is more implemented in retail. Though you can do fine in exports itself, but you're more molded for retail. So seniors contributed that, and I'll be honest, D0, Pantaloon, Globus, Madura Garments, all were there. I sat only for Pantaloons because there was an entrepreneur called Kishore Biani who was coming and picking up students from NIFT. So entrepreneurship, retail, again, all these traits came from my seniors and helped me get back to retail itself.
The seniors whom you are referring were the ones who were working in the industry already.
So they were already working, doing internship. One batch senior who just passed out, because you're most connected to your immediate seniors, right? Couple of years senior or maybe immediate senior, because a couple of years seniors also keep on visiting the campus, right? So these are the people who helped me and nurtured the thought process of joining retail. And here I am being in retail for 20 years, retail and e-commerce.
That's really great. Lucky you.
And I'll just add my journey to it. So I would say my, support to me from the seniors started right from the time I was actually writing the NIFT exam, the NIFT entrance exam. So I had a senior who was living like one batch senior to me, who was living right next doors. So I would go to her house and, I'd ask her what comes in NIFT entrance and how to tackle the group discussion and how to tackle the because I just want to say that I'm a physics honors by background. So I don't even know why, because I did science, I have an analytical mind, but I didn't even know like really G of garments or S of sewing. So she taught me everything that this is how you sew, this is a thread, this is a machine. So she gave me, I think my journey of interaction with the seniors started there. And fortunately, I got through GMT. And it was, I would say that it was always, we were always in discussion mode. And my interaction was with my one batch seniors who were present in the campus all the time and who I would see all the time in the foyer, because NIFT at that point in time was operating out of Indira Gandhi Stadium.
Correct.
So I would see seniors all the time in the foyer, and we used to be together. So I would say that we did not give it the name of a mentoring, but it was a discussion. It was a chat all the time. What is it we can do, and how do we tackle the projects, and which company is good for internship. So it was more, I would say, a discussion, a dialogue, a conversation that happened all throughout. And it was happening, and I wasn't even realizing it, that it is happening. Yeah.
I think very rightly said by Nidhi. The thought process actually has been there. The seniors have been around. We never structured in the form of mentoring, right? So we never gave a name to it. So it's like, okay, call kar liya. Okay, what do you think I should do? But I think this is more structured way of getting back to the students, and I think they should benefit out of this process.
Probably in your time, I mean, it was there as a part of the system that we had, because there were that time only NIFT Delhi was there, and it was a very closed group, and people know each other across the specializations. But today, NIFT is widespread across the country, and we have 16 campuses, the 17th coming, already Operation Panchkula. I think that structure was required. In fact, I just wanted to add my perspective of this mentoring, or let's say the interaction with the seniors. The seniors in the sense immediate seniors, or somebody who's working with the industry like you guys. Even in academics, mentoring becomes very, very important. I still remember the time when I joined NIFT to become a faculty, and I've traveled across about 4 campuses now. Even today, I have a mentor who guides me. I look upon somebody to do that. So when I joined in 2000, joined NIFT in 2000, I had wonderful senior faculty members who mentored me. I'm this today because of them. So everybody, you would have had somebody who really mentored you. So mentor is very, very inevitable in our professional as well as personal journey. I still remember Asha Bakshi madam, senior professor Banija madam. Today, our dean, Professor Dr. Vandana madam, Professor Dr. Sohail Anwar. These were the people who were my mentors, or I have adopted them as mentors. And recently, before our former DG, Sharda Muralidharan madam, IAS. So I told her once, madam, see, I have adopted Abdul Kalam Sahab as my mentor. Today's Teachers' Day, so I should remember him. And I said, ma'am, like that, I've adopted you also as my mentor, because I've learned a lot from you. So you have the learning experience is, you get this only from people who have really set up benchmark. They have experienced it. They have a lot of things to do. You just keep observing them, interacting with them, you'll get a lot of things. So really great that both of you are here sharing your experience. So there are, let's say, what should the students be? There is a very big question that runs in the students' mind. Our kids are very, when they go for internship or GP, they, especially this generation of kids, they don't even know how to go for an internship, and then what would their internship result into, how much of intellectual ability and intellectual asset they will create for the company. Our kids, sometimes we need to educate them to go and ask for a stipend, which is pretty decent. So some of them, one of the kids has asked me, sir, that why fashion in the fashion stream, designers do not get a stipend, or it is very difficult for us to find an internship. So how do we deal with this? Because being in business, you know about all the spectrum of the design management technology together. So how these kids should prepare themselves to go with that courage, the confidence, and then say, look, I'm going to do this, then this should be my compensation.
So I'll go ahead, Nidhi. So do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say that while stipend is important, and I think especially the first money that you earn is always very, very dear to us. But I think it's a chicken and egg story. And like I would say that learning and experience is priceless, especially when you are starting off in the industry. So if you are getting the chance to work with a good company, and for some reason they're not able to pay you stipend, I would say still go ahead with it. Because I think that there are ways where there can be help generated to take care of basic minimum expenses that a person incurs. That's number one. Number two is, I think when the companies see your work, that you have contributed and you have delivered something really, really good, then I think the companies do get encouraged to pay stipend. They may not have like a fixed amount in the beginning, but they will definitely pay you something. So I would say that in the beginning, maybe that is just a stepping stone, and you will be able to more than make up that money when you get your first job, because of the knowledge, of the experience that you would have learned, that is really, really priceless.
I think I up to an extent agree with Nidhi, but NIFT also has to play a role there. I think if NIFT comes into the play and say that there's a basic minimum amount required for any student to be getting into an internship, or basically covering their travel expense or logistics, or even some stay expenses, because people go for internship and out of the city they are studying at. So that, I think that role NIFT has to play a bit. But as far as industry is concerned, they will obviously refrain from giving more to anybody who's just there to learn, rather than give back or contribute back to the organization. So I would say, I think it's as she rightly says, catch-22, but I would say there could be a basic amount covered for each and every individual. Post that, I think let the organization decide whether they want to give beyond that or actually fixed amount for the stipend.
Correct. That's, I mean, it's well noted, because the team, especially my unit, has been working hard for the past few years to ensure that the students get properly remunerated, at least for the survival. That's very, very essential, because when you get into the metros and then work with companies, big companies, being a student and then undergoing an internship and a research project. So that's why we are pushing it on to the internship GP and the PPO. So hopefully we will also try to work better on this. So
I'll add one more thing. I think I learned long time back. One of the CEOs taught me this. I was working with the Child Relief, a new organization, and connecting donations for the child education cause. And I used to feel really flustered going and asking for donations and basically give nothing. I was not selling any cards. I was not doing any referral draws. I was just asking for donation for child education, and asked this question: how should I go and ask any CEO of the company that give me a donation for a cause which you're not even aware of how I'm going to use the money? And I got that sentence, and that applies to us: dignity in asking and dignity in receiving. This is something we should work on. We should ask for that stipend. At the same time, if in case there is some miss from the organization, is okay. As Nidhi said, take it as more of a learning. You'll have enough chances to earn back that money later on.
Fine. I think the industry is also very fair in paying. People. They are not reluctant to pay for the right choice of people. In the sense, the student should have a very strong document, or let's say should have a strong CV or a portfolio that would showcase their competence and the expertise. So how would both of you guide these young grads to build their portfolio or build a CV that will boost their confidence? What should their CV look like?
I'll be honest, if I look at a CV, if in case somebody's worked for several years, the only thing I see in the CV is, obviously, I don't care about the number of words you've used or the number of pages, or for that matter, number of years of experience you're carrying on your CV. What I see is the relevant work experience and the impact you've created in the previous organization. This is for the people who have worked, but who are freshers. And I think this chat I had with Kishan also, who's working with NIFT WeCare. He's the pillar of one of the pillars at NIFT WeCare. I told him that the student has to clearly highlight his individuality, his USP, his or her USP through that CV. Everyone, GPA matters, okay? His hobbies and his passions matter. But what matters the most to me is what is his core competency and how he believes that he can contribute to the organization. That has to be summarized. That has to be the head note of the CV. That's most important to me. And when we interview that particular individual, it has to come across as a fact rather than a faff on the piece of paper.
Yeah, so I'll just add a few bits to it. So when, when we are looking for people, I think there are a few things that are really, really important to me in particular. And I feel that number one is, of course, your attitude. And you must possess the right attitude, and you must be a go-getter. You should be able to, you should be a problem solver. You should be able to take the team along, and you should be able to manage up and manage down. Core competency, very important. You should know the basic skills, but I think most of the companies are willing to invest in skilling their people, because the performance of the company actually depends on the skills, on the capabilities of the people. And also, I think most importantly, how is this person going to contribute to the company? I think whenever somebody joins the company, what most of the times I think we make the mistake of thinking is that, what is the company going to do for me? What is the company going to give us? However, I think the right question to ask is that, what is it that I can do to the company? How can I almost make myself indispensable? Though I know there's a very famous saying that nobody is indispensable, but yeah, how can I make myself visible? How can I make myself more credible to the company? And I think companies always reward good work. Always reward. I have really not come across any instance where good work doesn't get rewarded. So that is very, very important. One more thing I want to add is that the world is changing very fast, and so is the world of garments. So if I think, like when I passed out in 93, and if somebody told me that the patterns are going to be made by a computer and the fitting is going to happen on an avatar, I would have thought, oh my God, have you just watched Star Trek or Star Wars? So, but it has, like in so many years, in like 20-25 years, things have changed quite dramatically. So I think very important to always have an open mind, very important to see what is happening around us, and always keep skilling ourselves. I think that is really, really important. Knowledge is power, and we've got to make sure that at all points in time, we are aware of what's happening around us, and we are skilling ourselves. And there are a lot of mechanisms available. These days, there is almost every kind of material available online, to skill yourselves. All we need to do is we need to be aware. What is it that we need to skill upon? And I think that is another area where NIFT Care can help, because we have been through that journey through our interactions with the students. Probably, we can be a bit of a help to guide them, that what are the things that are coming up and what are the things to be aware about. And of course, then there's no dearth of material. There's no dearth of avenues to learn those skills.
Correct. So, I mean, it's very, evident that there should be a mentor-mentee bonding, and it is brewing. I could see, based on the interest of people attending such sessions, and based on the interest of NIFT Care bringing in senior alumni like you to interact with these kids. So how do you see this bonding between you and the mentees?
So, I think to begin with, since we've just started this program, and Ashish and me are literally, I think, the fourth mentors that are interacting. But there will be a series, and I would say at the moment it's best that students send their questions to Ranjini, and they could direct their questions to any of us. There were 2 people on last week, 2 of us are here this week. So they can direct the questions to any of us, and we will make sure that those questions get answered. And I think as this process rolls on, probably in 6 months, a year's time, or 2 years' time, we would hope that each student in NIFT has a mentor. And of course, this passing out batch of 2020 would become mentors after 2, 3, 4, 5 years to the passing out batches. So it is like passing on the baton. And it is a process, it is a journey that should always contribute. I'm a mentee today, but I would become a mentor tomorrow. And I think that will really define the success of this journey. and scale up, which I think would be very, very beneficial.
I think the process has started, Professor Raghu. I think the first connect has started. We have started connecting the whole alumni and the industry coming together. The second part is communication we doing through this platform.
Great.
I think then obviously the third part is the whole creating of the opportunity. So they'll come by. And as Nidhi said, it'll take maybe 6 months to 1 year to really, get iron out the whole process. But I think the people will not only from the 2020 batch, but beyond will also benefit out of this. Today, they are the mentees, they'll be the mentors for tomorrow.
I mean, seriously, we should be looking forward to that. In fact, we are trying to get a few of the, we were talking about this to Sanjay and Kishan last week, that we are trying to bring in the mentees also on board along with the mentors. So people who have really are interacting. So the NIFT WeCare can choose a couple of mentees who can come and interact with the mentors in such a platform, so that the other mentees come to know that what kind of a bonding is happening between both sides. And for all these kids, I'm used to calling them kids in class, so that's the way it is coming. All my young adults, the graduates who are watching this, last week Kishan had given you the mail ID. It is niftwecare@gmail.com. That is where you will reach out to them with your questions, and probably the NIFT WeCare team will connect you with an appropriate mentor. And then there starts that. Ranjini has already posted it in the chat again. So it's niftwecare@gmail.com. Or alternatively, you can also write to ui.alumniaffairs@nift.ac.in, which will be forwarded to them. So that's really a great going. Now I have got a lot of questions from the grads. For instance, one very interesting thing. So it's like this. This is from Bhavya, who's from NIFT Chennai. Should we choose a role or a career which is different from our goals due to unavailability of jobs? I mean, it's a matter of real concern. Should we go for a role or a job or a career which is different from our goals? Is unavailability of jobs going to push the grads to that extent?
I think it depends, how different is, if somebody is wanting to do something and how different it is. I think it'll really require some kind of a evaluation. It's probably very difficult to answer, but I can connect separately with Bhavya and just ask her if there's something specific in her mind. I think it's a bit of evaluation. If it is in some way linked, or it'll help in reaching your goal, maybe it'll help like 10, 15, 20, 30% reaching your goal, I would say go for it. But if it is a completely unrelated, then I would say maybe it's worth the wait. But like I said, maybe I can interact. Bhavya can write to me, or she can write to Ranjini. Ranjini can connect me to her, or she can write to NIFT WeCare, and I could speak to her separately and address that because I'd like to get the specifics of what she's thinking.
Fantastic. So Bhavya, if you're listening, please write to either Ranjini or niftwecare@gmail.com. You are being heard, and you will be definitely guided on this. So Ashish ji, now it's very interesting because this question I wanted to to be answered directly by you, because you are into the technological side of the retail spectrum. So one of the kids asks that everybody is taking a course on AI or 3D, graphics and etc. All the new technology trends. So how this technology trend can be put to use in the retail industry? That's what Mona Lisa Dash wants to ask you.
I think, to be honest, COVID has just advanced the usage of these technologies by almost 5 to 10 years. Every organization today, I think, are driven by the digital transformation. So if in case these technologies are not adopted at this stage, I think we ourselves will be very, very big losers, to be honest. And doesn't matter it's AI or a machine learning. At the end of the day, these are the tools to help you making the decisions. Similarly, if in case there's a person of a management graduate who's getting into an industry, he has to be completely trained on the advanced Excel and MySQL. Similarly, if in case you have to upskill yourself on the digital piece, there are several courses available online. I think there are several platforms like Udemy, Coursera, EDX. They serve all those courses right now for free, unless until you need a certificate for sure. Right. If you need a certificate, obviously you pay for it. But all these courses are available, and the way they're gonna impact is already happening, sir. We are talking and we are not physically meeting, right? And we have survived 6 months. At least in my company, I think we have survived 6 months without reaching to office. Now we have started going to office literally after 6 months, but the work has not stopped. I think in each one of them who are little averse to using the technology, doesn't matter, it's as simple as talking on a video. They all are now adopted it and they're running with it now. So it's not that when, it's like now you have to do and adopt it.
That's true. And how about what is the stand of Marks and Spencer in this, in the growing technology trend scenario? How are we open to it?
I would say we've not only embraced it, we've hugged it. So we are moving quite fast. And Ashish rightly mentioned that, like, we were always thinking of making those technological advancements, but like, because of this pandemic, there was no choice. And what would have literally happened like 5 years from now is happening now. So it has happened within 5 months of lockdown. So like, lots of changes have happened. Meetings are happening virtually. And I would say that there is a big benefit, because everybody shows up to the meeting on time. The meetings finish on time. And the interaction has actually become much better. So I think that is really good. Secondly, I think it has kind of made sure that more responsibilities come to the offices in India. And we are able to take a lot of local approvals in the past, which we were not actually doing. So that has also really helped, because the capability was always here. But in the pandemic, just because there was no other option, because the couriers were not going, nobody could fly, like, a lot of local approvals had to be taken. And I'm very happy to say that, everything went very well. And as a result, those have become like permanent fixtures. So we are moving very fast. We have adopted 3D fitting, visual sampling, fitting on avatars. So all those kind of things are happening. And of course, virtual team meetings are happening all the time.
And further add, Professor Raghu, we are a retail company. I worked in an e-commerce environment, which is 100% e-commerce, but this is the company I worked, SSIPL. It's a sportswear company. We represent Nike, Levi's, and Sports Station in India, right? Just 6 months back, there were very small representation through e-commerce and technology platform. Within 6 months, we have such transformation already happening that we have WhatsApp bot. We have already bots contacting and interacting with the customer and doing sales through WhatsApp. We have e-commerce website of our own Sports Station getting launched. We have used e-catalog, and these catalogs are not just static catalogs, they're interactive catalogs. And 5% of our sales are coming through digital initiatives. So that itself speaks that by speeding up the whole thing, we've been able to save some business out of by using technology and adopting it as fast as we could.
Yeah, that's really nice. The next thing that I wanted to ask both of you is that, see, rejections are very hard to take. So one of the student has also written about it, Shivangi Singh. So rejections are hard to take. But the point is, it would be even better to accept it if we know that the reason of why we are being rejected. So both of you, I'm sure you must have met a lot of grads in the jury and as part of some special lecture, or at your office, or when they come for an intern. Probably, I think these kind of rejections are based on some expectation from these grads, which there is a gap between what they've learned and what they are expected to work. What are those skills, do you think, that will help these grads to bridge that particular gap which is expected by the industry?
I think when a CV is presented to us, it doesn't matter. Again, I'm saying it's a fresher or the people who have been in industry. The one big thing which comes out of the CV is obviously they've stated out each and every aspect of their skill set and everything. That's fine. I think most of the people have the basic skill set. It's the aptitude and the attitude which is missing in the interview. If we don't see that type of flexibility, if we don't see people being down and dirty, ready to do job, and then having that impact on the work they're taking up, that is something missing, to be honest. I'm not saying across, but if I have to reject a CV, it has to be on the attitude which is coming through the interaction with that individual rather than the skill set. Skill set can be upskilled, can be at the job, off the job, doesn't matter. But I think the aptitude and the attitude, and a lot of times I hear people being passionate about something, but if in an interview the person comes with a passion without a purpose, that itself is a big no itself. You can be passionate. For example, a person can be passionate about photography. But if in case the person doesn't have a purpose in the head that I want to be the best photographer, what's the point? Ultimately, you're going to make money only when you sell the photographs, right? Not by clicking some. Okay. So passion backed by purpose and attitude, which is more flexible, more adopting the situation rather than being stern about this is what I want to do and this is what I want.
Yeah. I'll just add to that, Professor Raghuram, is that I think the one single thing that the companies, when they're hiring you, that they look for is that how is this candidate going to value add to my organization? So I think that is really the most important question, when a candidate is going for an interview. Number one, they should study about that organization, be it an export house, a buying agent, or a retailer, any format. I think they should study about the organization. They should study that what are the core activities carried by that organization and how I can contribute, So I think it's very, very simple that if the company feels that you are going to contribute and add value to their operations, to their goals, I think it's a big tick. But if the company feels that no, you're not going to add value, I think then probably, that is where somehow rejections happen. But I would say that rejection should be taken positively. And actually, when you're going through a rejection, it could look very harsh. But when you look back, I think more often than not, we do feel that we have learned a lot from these rejections. And failures are a part of our everyday life. Every day we fail. There could be small failures, there could be big failures. So I would say just take them as a part of your life, learn from them, and see that how I can do better next time. And I just like to quote something which I really love, and I think everybody has seen it in the walls of the school, and it's still there. It's a poem by Walter D. Whittle, and it says that only people who win are the people who think who can. So I think that is really, really important. Like whenever I have a failure, whenever I have a low down, that is what I think that, okay, I have to win and I know I can win. And that's what takes me forward.
I think I'll further add to that. Your failures and rejections are not that you are a failure. It's something you tried, right? You try to go for an interview. Sometimes the job is not fit for you. It's not that only you are not fit. Maybe the organization is not right fit for you. An organization don't have that communication or feedback to the person who's come for the interview. So it's important for the organization also to share that you are a great guy. But sometimes we might not be right for your skill set or whatever the job you want to do. So treat failure and rejection as an unexpected inconvenience in your life rather than a life-shattering moment.
That's really very important. I think we should pay attention to all these points that you have given, because rejections is part of life.
Yeah.
But we should learn how to move on.
We all fail.
Yeah, there's another question. Probably should be from an undergrad. Swarna Tejasvi. She says, do the mentors have any suggestions about doing a master's in management abroad? Will the master's program help in career growth, or the experience as a designer is better? So somebody who's a designer is aspiring to go for a master's abroad. The question is that whether it is going to help them to grow professionally.
Definitely, yes, I would say that I think that exposure and higher education and to be able to learn like further in detail the finer nuances, I think definitely,
Okay.
I'm a big fan of studies, so like I myself last year did a senior executive program from London Business School. Great. So I feel it's very important. Like, no matter how many years you have worked, I'm a big fan of studying, like, short courses, doing alongside your job. It is very, very good. It's not just about, the course content, but I think the classroom interaction and the learning that you do from the classroom, from your peers, I think that's very, very important as well.
And the network you create.
I would say yes, definitely.
Okay. So, today we see the startup ecosystem really doing well in our country. But somehow students, I think they are still skeptical about when it comes to joining a startup. But Ashish, right at the beginning, he said he went and sat for Pantaloon because he saw an entrepreneur coming into NIFT and to pick, and no looking back from there on. So how do these students, how will you encourage these students and motivate them to work for startups and grow along with the company?
I'll call it out. When I joined Pantaloon, sir, I was a management trainee. I think there's a lot of buzz around this word. Been questioned in the past also. We all started as management trainee. And the only thing which I looked, obviously there was an amount of salary we were getting for our expenses. It was never enough, right? We always have party and balance out our accommodation and everything. But to be honest, that time was very clear that what maximum learning I can get out of this organization, how soon I can accommodate myself in that organization, how can I start contributing back to the organization. And from journey from a management trainee to a merchandiser to a manager to management in 20 years, to be honest, it was all planned in the head. In fact, when I was at ITC, one of our consultants told me, and I must quote this, he said, Ashish, never ever think like what you are doing right now. If you're a merchandiser, don't think like a merchandiser. Think like a merchandising manager. When you're a merchandising manager, think like a divisional head. When you're a divisional head, think like a CEO. That's how you mentally graduate yourself. And that's worked wonders for me as far as I am concerned. I never benchmarked people around me, my colleagues, my senior. The only benchmark for me was, I'm a better person, better individual, better professional than what I was yesterday. And startups give you that freedom, that independence to go and paint the wall. A typical corporate, and I don't have anything against corporates. ITC, I worked for 3 years. It is a fabulous organization. But my maximum learning came in Pantaloons. My maximum learning came at fashionable.com. My maximum learning came in an entrepreneur-driven company called Plan Retail Holdings, where I joined them to launch Debenhams, and such a blessing in disguise happened that the store got delayed by a year and a half. I was thrown around. In fact, one of the colleagues told me that you joined for merchandising. Why are you joining operations? I said, that's something I'm doing because I'm going to learn. I interacted with marketing, and that's how you build yourself 360 degrees. So for me, I think working with promoters, working in startups, it might not give you job security, which I never wanted, to be honest. When I said that if you can contribute back, job security is out of the window. The organization won't leave you. Correct. Trust me, the organization will never leave you if in case you're contributing so much. So for me, I think it's a great platform. And first 5-10 years, it doesn't matter you work in an organization, just go and learn. The money will follow you.
Great. That's really great. So, I mean, these the other interesting thing another kid is asking is that, see, we have a lot of time now. The online placements are on. Vacancies are not as great as it was the previous years. Situation is tough. Everybody knows that, and I'm very appreciative. These kids are really matured. That they've started, valuing time. They are very good in reading the situation, and they have developed a lot of patience. So I'm very, very thankful to these young graduates of NIFT for treating the situation with so much of maturity. But one of the kid asks that, how do I utilize this free time that I have got till I get employed? So what if you were that particular person? I'll also read that name. It is Jaspreet Kaur. So she says, please tell me what I should do during the free time till I get employed.
Yeah. Maybe you want to go with this?
Yeah. So I think there are a couple of options. So like you can upskill yourself, like Ashish gave the names of few like websites like Coursera, Udemy, where you can go and you can upskill yourself. And also I think it won't hurt asking for a online internship, because of the pandemic, not many companies may be willing to have an intern physically present in the office because everybody is practicing social distancing. But it is getting an online internship is also possible. And there definitely could be some learning. And in fact, I would say these times are of great learnings because nobody was prepared for this pandemic, and how quickly everybody is adapting themselves to make sure that they still remain relevant and they are there for the consumer, and they adapt themselves to the changing consumer practices. I think it's a great learning. So online internship would also be good. I would say that do not get hung up upon stipend. Take it as a learning experience, maybe for 5 months, for 6 months. And once you have learned, there will be enough opportunities to more than make up like, if you have to work without a stipend.
I think I would recommend two courses. I think people should utilize Jaspreet specifically, and if you have extra time at your hand, go and join Google Transformation, digital transformation courses. All free, it's all there. Everything related to digital is there. At the same time, brush up your analytical skills. It doesn't matter you're a designer or your production or you're a FMS pass out. Just brush up your analytical skills and go and learn advanced Excel and MySQL, because the world has changed. The only two things which are gonna work in favor of you in the work environment is the digital piece and the whole analytical piece. Let the machine learning and AI throw a lot of options at you, but the decision has to be made by the human being, right? So you need to learn those skills.
So that's bang on. I mean, two good courses you have recommended. I hope Jaspreet.
I'll share the links with Ranjini if required, and she can share further with the students.
Absolutely. So Jaspreet, I hope your question is answered bang on. So right away, go to any of these online, MOOC programs that you have, and then register for it. And there you go. You're going to utilize your time from tomorrow. So I've been asking you a lot of questions on behalf of the grads. I think I should reciprocate also to both of you. If you have any question to the grads, I will be happy to answer on their behalf at this point in time. Unless we start an interactive kind of a session.
I'll be honest, I have one single call out for the students who are hearing us, looking at us. Never lack self-belief. This is, as I said, I use this word, it is unexpected inconvenience if you will look upon this particular time period in future. I have several ups and downs in my personal life, professional life. But when I look back, it's just a hurdle. It's just a small failure, a small rejection you see. 2001, I'll share this example, and this is very close to my heart. Very dear friend of mine passed out with me. Okay, I went out of NIFT and joined Pantaloons. This gentleman passed out of MET Maharashtra entrance test through and did his MBA. And he was supposed to join Cholamandalam Finance on the same day when I was joining Pantaloons. He was laid off before he joined. There was a slowdown in the Indian economy, 2001, 2003. Before even Cholamandalam Finance picked up that guy, he was laid off. Okay. They could have also shattered. He also could have mentally shattered that, oh, life has ended. The job is not there. This guy had a job. Everyone is in COVID right now. He was alone dealing with that particular thing. But this guy had a self-belief. He joined a PR company at half the salary, not of his choice. He just joined a PR company to do PR for some company, right? Eventually went and joined an Australian company he was doing PR for. Went and worked for IBMs and Dells of the world, got the best salesman award by the Prime Minister of Australia, and now running a $100 million company of his own. If in case he would have been shattered sitting at home thinking that my 12,000 salary job I have lost today and I'm going to get 6,000 to start with, he would have not done and not achieved what he has achieved today. So there's only one thing which made him do that, was self-belief. So please don't lose your self-belief. It's just a bad time and it's for everyone, and we'll come through that.
Yeah, and I just want to add one more thing to that is of course, self-belief is foundational, it's key, but never ever stop. So never ever think that you know enough. Never ever think that you can't reach further. So just don't stop, just keep learning, keep going, keep the fire in your belly alive, keep that passion alive, and keep progressing further. So I think that is really, really important, that keeping that fire in your belly alive, of doing more, of learning more, of accomplishing more, of making yourself better than yesterday, So I think our goal is our own self, and our fight is with our own self. So that how am I making myself better than I was yesterday? How am I learning new things? So I think never ever let that stop. Always be at it, doing something new, learning something new, and you will see that you will be going places.
Great. That's really great. I mean, I'm also reminded of the teachings of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Very easily he says, I mean, that holds good for everybody. Man is made by his belief. As he believes, so he is. So the belief system is the faith is what is going to, lead us to where we aim to go. And I think we should have a very strong belief system in us. I mean,
absolutely.
Echoing what both of you are saying. Yeah.
Correct. So, Professor, I can ask you one question, and I think this will benefit the students also. So, I think it'll be good to hear your views at how you think that NIFT We Care can make this initiative of mentoring like more effective, like reach out to more people. So is there anything you would like to ask us on behalf of the students? You know, what is it that we can do better and how can we contribute more?
Yeah, certainly. We are all out to help the alumni connect with their alma mater, because I've always felt Institute NIFT as a family has always felt that connect should be very, very strong. Because even in the previous session I said we can never look industry and NIFT alumni as two different entities. Industry is alumni and alumni is industry. That's how we are, and we are a very close knitted family. I'm so happy about it. Anything we are always pro. We always look forward to facilitate such interactions and many more to this. In fact, in the last meeting after the first interactive session, I was suggesting that there should be quite a frequent. This COVID situation is going to, we pray that this should get resolved very quickly. Right from the day your connect with the NIFT student should be established right from the very day the student gets on board for their 4 years or 2 years of education at NIFT. So the presence of any institution is known by the strength of its alumni, the strength of its academicians. So I think we all together should make the grads feel more confident that, look, you have a big family right behind you. And that's what we are doing. And I'm very, very thankful because there are a lot of names that I should mention. So NIFT is all the way happy to support for more such initiatives. And we are that is how we have Ranjini to work very focusedly towards engaging with the alumni. So I request the NIFT We Care team to come up with more such initiatives, not only in terms of mentoring and in terms of placement, but also it should be like a hand-holding, a confidence-building exercise to give a feeler that there is somebody who's following like a shadow, so that the people will get the right guidance and move on the right track. So I have to mention certain names like Manish Tribhuvan, Manish Sondi, Nitin Gupta, who along with Sanjay Kishan have made this possible. And also I have few other names in the chat: Nikhil Ranjan, Rahul Ranjan, Pooja, Shanka, Padmaraj, Amritansh, Nidhi Sikka, Shweta, Sandeep Ramudu, Gargi, Partha, Brajesh Rawat, Romi Agarwal. See, these two guys, I've been interacting, Brajesh Rawat and Romi Agarwal. I think these are unforgettable people. I am so glad that you have connected, you are connecting with your alma mater and connecting with these young grads. You're all people whom these grads should look up to, because you've performed, you know the in and out of the industry. You all have struggled to reach a position. So your experience will be highly valuable. Anything that the NIFT We Care team comes up which can create some value to the academic society and the ecosystem of NIFT, we are all out to support you. That's an assurance from us.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is just the start of a very good initiative, and we definitely have places to go from here.
Absolutely. So there are more questions that have come in the Q&A as well as the chat box, but it's more than an hour. Time has just rolled just like that. It was quite interesting to interact with both of you. All the remaining questions will be posted by Ms. Ranjini to the NIFT We Care team, and those along with the names of the graduates who asked this question, and we will ensure that the guidance of these mentors from the NIFT We Care team will reach these kids by email, or we take a few of the questions in the next session if we could find more time. So I think that it was really great with what could I have asked more on a Teachers' Day than interacting with two stalwarts of which NIFT has produced. And this Teachers' Day has been very, very memorable for me, and I'm really thankful that you have taken so much of time. And I wish that this initiative should continue, and I request all the NIFT grads to make the best use of this opportunity. Ranjini, so I would invite you to close the proceedings for today.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'm going to share something here.
Yes, I think I've mentioned each one of their names now. These are the guys who are behind it, so I'm really thankful to these guys. Yeah.
Oops, I think
That's all right.
So
yes.
Let me first begin with a big thank you and a huge gratitude to these angels. We call them angels now because they have come forward unanimously and without any inhibitions to help us out, connect to the students and mentor them. And who best, because they are industry leaders in their own space, who can guide and mentor our students. Thank you so much to NIFT Weekend. As Raghuram sir correctly said, we are here to support every initiative that you bring out for the for our students and the NIFT community. Thank you so much. My next thank you is for Ms. Nidhi Dua and Madhureta. Thank you so much, ma'am and sir, for joining us today. Your vast experience really talks, and this session will help our students to connect to you better.
Thank you.
Questions that are posted from the students, I will post it to you. Alternatively, students can also further interact with the mentors. My sincere thanks also to
There's a bit of a connectivity issue with Ranjini. Ranjini, we don't mind you having the video off because your voice is not reaching out because of the bandwidth issue.
I will switch off the video.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my sincere thanks to all the students who have joined us today. And I wish that you will take maximum support from these sessions and spread the word to all your batchmates too, so that they can also join us. And anytime you want to see the replay, it is available on the YouTube link, which is shared by us every week. And last but not the least, I would like to thank Mr. Virendra Ji, who is our webmaster, who supports us seamlessly from HO to air these sessions. Thank you and good evening all. Namaste.
Happy Teachers Day once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Raghuram. Thank you, Ranjini, and my best wishes to all the students on behalf of NIFT Weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.